hell you'll never ever bring me to. Don't wish you ill, but I don't wish you well, 'cause you can take your breath away. I wouldn't care about it either way. I don't wish you ill, but I don't wish you well, 'cause you can take your breath away. Yeah, feeling me like any other day. Don't wish you ill, but I don't wish you
This is WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh. I'm your host, Loaf, and this is Off the Record, an interview podcast series here at the station where artists of all shapes, sizes, genres, and backgrounds are interviewed. In this edition, I had the pleasure of speaking with Flood District, a synth pop band from Raleigh, NC, from the Raleigh, NC area, on the heels of their latest album release, Eden the Carry. The song you just heard before that was "Wish You Well" off of their latest album. How you guys doing? Glad to have you here. You guys doing good?
We're doing well.
Yeah, I'm filled with misery.
Well, we're mostly doing well.
No, that's a good thing.
So, introduce yourselves. You know, your names, what instruments you play. Role in the band. If you have anything other than playing instruments, what's up with it?
Hello, I'm Michael. I am the singer and synth player, kind of, and sometimes other stuff too.
Hello, my name is Canary Casey. I play guitar, and sometimes might sing if you're lucky.
We're all really lucky when Casey sings. Truth. I'm Matt. I play guitar, and that's it.
Austin, I play bass, and our drummer John is unfortunately not with us.
So, are you guys all originally from the Raleigh area, and sort of just like have you all lived here your entire lives? You all moved here, or what's up with it? How long have you been here?
It's a mixture. Me and Matt have been in and around Raleigh most or all of our lives. Casey is more from Greensboro scene, and we met a long time ago when I would in my old band play out there, and vice versa sometimes. And Austin, I think, moved here a long time ago, but I don't think Austin doesn't have roots in the local scene. This is Austin's first band.
Yeah, I'm from northern Indiana and central Indiana. I moved down here in high school, so I've been in North Carolina for a good chunk of my life, and I really got into the music scene around here. So my musical roots kind of are here. And I have some great friends around here, present company included.
Cool.
I think
Neat.
Matt?
Well, I'm from here. Michael said that.
Cool. Oh wait, I'm sorry. So awkward.
But also, I still live here.
Cool.
And I will never leave because that would let my enemies win.
fun story. Matt disintegrates if he ever is taken out of Raleigh. And
take it out of the triangle area.
We can never leave.
So would you say all of you are pretty are more veterans of the industry? You guys have been around for a while. You guys have been in a lot of groups. Is that sort of a good general feel? Or because I know Austin and Matt, you guys are in Juxton Roy.
No,
Michael and Matt, y'all are from Juxton Roy, and yeah. So
I mean, I don't think of it that way. We've just been playing since we were 14, 15, and have been around here the whole time, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think the fact that we met in the back room of the brewery probably makes us seem veterans on its own.
That's fair.
So this is actually my first band, and I've been with Flood District for 5 years now, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a veteran of Flood District and nothing else. So I have been playing bass for since I was 14. So
okay.
I've been around, just not visual. Yeah.
2 places.
More states than Michael or Matt.
Okay. More states, more scenes, I guess.
It's not a Richard measuring contest, my friend. And this is Casey. I'm from Greensboro, and I've been in several bands in Greensboro.
Okay.
This is my first band in Raleigh, but I've found such a great community here. And for my solo musical project, Canary Complex, I've sort of decided to locate myself here in general.
Yeah.
Because there's not exactly a scene for it in Greensboro.
Nice. So you guys kind of hinted at it. How long has Flood District, this project or band or however you like to formulate it, been around? I know that you guys have had singles dating back to like 2020, but obviously like with most bands, like it's way before singles or anything like that. So
this band is weird in that regard, and I'll be brief.
Yeah.
If possible,
brief, I'm Matt.
The technical answer to how long has Flood District existed is 10 years.
Okay.
When I was in college in 2013, I was in a death metal band called Lorelei, and I wanted to be in a band that wasn't a metal band also.
Mm-hmm.
And my taste in music can be a bit peculiar, I guess. And maybe that sounds pretentious, but like, and I don't,
it is.
And I didn't really find the specific thing I was looking for anywhere. So I came up with the name, and I was like, that's the name. Like, it's just a vibe. It was just a name and a vibe.
Oh yeah.
The vibe that I was thinking of 10 years ago is the exact vibe that's on Eden to Carry, but I didn't know how to make it.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I downloaded Ableton and spent years writing ideas and figuring out how to use DAW and figuring out how to produce and getting better at singing. And in that time, like Lorelei splits up. I try various people involved in the group. At the time, I was in Wilmington at UNCW, and then I relocate back to Raleigh. I'm once again trying to bring people in, and then slowly, starting with Matt, just start grabbing people over years, starting in like 2018. So Matt and Austin came in around the same time. And
I'm pretty sure you had Austin.
Or was it the other way around?
You asked me, because I'm pretty sure you had asked Austin. And
it's within a few weeks of each other.
Because you asked me to join this band at the Juxton Roy EP release show.
That is true.
I think.
I think
I was outside after they played.
Yeah, standing next to a trash can.
I said, Matt, we haven't seen each other in years. Be in my new band. And then Casey, I've known for years, and very specifically remember, I've always wanted to be in a band with Casey because we've played together since 2012, maybe when he was in his band in Greensboro, and it just never worked out. And then Casey heard like something we had, maybe it was like Used to Be, and was like, I really want to be in a band like this. And I was like, well, maybe you should be in a band like this. Maybe
it's your lucky day.
Maybe this exact band. And then our most recent person we got was John, who's not here, our drummer, who's also in the prog death metal group Wilder Run, who is, excuse me, Grammy winning. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. It's technically true because he played in the Assassin's Creed soundtrack that won the Grammy.
Sick.
But
Assassin's
as
Creed
did the rest of
Valhalla.
Wilder Run. Congratulations to all of them. Anyway, falafel. Anyway,
Wow, I falafel about this.
but yeah, and he's John. He's not on the record because he joined after the record was done. But
Off the record.
he's off the record. Yeah.
He's like one of the best drummers in like the state. He has to be.
Yeah.
He has to be.
Like, we'll be struggling with these songs that we wrote, and then John is like, yeah, I've got it down, and adds more to it.
Nice,
I'll be like,
nice.
this is really peculiar. Like, I hope you can get all these stops. I can help you through these. And then he's just like, I already know. No, I know. That's why I yelled.
So this was definitely sort of a side project for you, Michael, and then it's sort of like translated over to a sort of like a fuller project with sort of everybody else.
I kind of always wanted it to be a main project, and then it just kind of has become one. It's just like I didn't come up with like any of the kind of like normal background to do a band like this or training for it. I mean, nor did any of us really, but like it just took a really long time to be able to do the record. And I didn't even know what it was supposed to sound like. I just knew what it was supposed to feel like. So once it started feeling like we could actually make it, it very quickly was like, this is the thing. This is the main thing.
Okay. And does everybody else with the band sort of share that sort of same, I guess, vision or sort of just like tone, like very closely with you, Michael? Sort of like asking everybody, like, do y'all kind of like this sort of just like this noise and this tone that you've produced, and it's sort of something that you've all been searching for, or is it sort of just like all just chilling?
I think we all sort of share Michael's vision from the get-go. I mean, I'm speaking for the other bandmates, of course. Maybe they can chime in. But for me especially, Michael and I shared this background in being really fond of visual kei, which is a Japanese subgenre, I guess you'd say, but it's much bigger than the term subgenre. But it's a style of rock music that's only popular in and of Japan. But we have been obsessed with some of the same bands. Like
We grew up with
we raised ourselves on it. And bands like Lunacy, The Gazette, those are the bands that inspired me to play the parts that I play. And I know that Michael gets a lot of his songwriting cues from that type of music as well.
Yeah. They're in all over the place. But I mean, what do y'all think?
I just play hair metal.
Like to agree?
over all of our songs.
like to share.
Okay.
Hair metal and post rock. It's just what I'm doing over everything
true.
we do.
Yeah.
So I think importantly, not just the music, but like the people in this band are like the kind of people I want to surround myself with. Right?
Mhm. Cool.
Like Michael has curated a friend group and picked out people specifically for this band because of their talent and because of their personality, and we
Mhm.
all gel really well together.
Yeah.
Like I would consider this band not just like a musical project, but like some of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
On
That's
top
awesome.
on top of that, like we explore pop music in a very unique way to us, I think, in that we approach it from metal and rock and visual kei, and we kind of are able to express pop in our own ways.
Yes.
And that to me is what really sells me on this, is that I can play, a metal bass line, I can play a funk bass line, I can play a pop bass line, maybe all in the same song, and like get that feel of it. And I get to express myself in ways that I wouldn't be able to in any other band with this music.
We're speaking, I guess, to the music and sort of, I guess, how the tone is and how you define that. Is what you were saying, Austin, where it's just sort of like very much a mix of sort of like pop and sort of just like metal and just sort of just like a whole bunch of, seems like a cacophony of noise and inspiration. Is that how is that how you would try to, I guess, define your tone and your style, at least with the band? Or is it sort of just like, do you have it more sort of like put down to a T, or is it kind of just like all over the place?
Is this to Austin specifically or broadly?
This to everybody? Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I can answer that decently well. I am, from a songwriting perspective, like I'm very interested in like genre tropes and like genre as like an idea, but I am not interested in like playing a genre like just like oh, we're this period, right? Like there is more of like a shared aesthetic. It's a little nebulous. It's a little hard to like define. I feel like if you've listened to it through, you say like, oh, there's like some songs that are like synth pop songs and other songs that have like big like distorted guitars and like walls of like almost like Deftones like style, I don't know, chorus guitars and stuff. And it's like listening all the way through it, they don't feel like different bands or different styles or different vibes. It's all in this shared feeling. It's more taking all these things, exploring them to their fullest, and then saying, how does this fit into this kind of nebulous aesthetic that we all certainly feel and understand, don't necessarily know how to put it in words. That's probably terrible podcast material, but it is true.
I mean, it definitely seems like that Flood District is definitely more of an exploration into sort of like more these sort of nebulous tones and aesthetics that you have described, which I guess moving on to aesthetics, I think that is one of the most important things of your band, and one of the things that definitely grabbed me a lot. I love how you guys wear all black. How it's very just sort of like synthy pop, sort of like more cyberpunk anarchist type feel, which is what I got personally. So So how important is aesthetic for all of you collectively in this band and sort of stuff in general, just outside of the music? And just sort of
not at all. We don't have any aesthetic tastes at all.
Wait, you mean those cool music videos with like those CLT TVs and just
I have
like
nothing
anime?
to do with any of those. I wear nothing but gym shorts and t-shirts. I dress however Casey tells me to.
Yeah, I do feel like I'm sort of the I don't know, the very demanding mother of the band.
Thanks, Mom.
It's true.
Yeah, I will always call them the night before a photo shoot or a video shoot and say, "What are you wearing tomorrow?"
I love that call.
And I think that comes from Michael and I. We have this shared interest in what I was speaking of earlier, the Japanese visual kei. They have a very specific aesthetic that really complements and flows really well with the music.
Mhm.
And we're not copying that image, but we're trying to bring the spirit of that to our group. We know that it's not exactly a popular thing in the area or in America in general.
Mhm.
And so we feel like it can bring a different element to what we're putting out.
Okay.
I went too far. Also, like that's like a very genuine expression for us. Like it isn't just like, oh, this is a thing that's popular somewhere else and does not
Yeah,
that
no.
I think
Yeah,
that's
no,
what
no.
it sounds like either, but like it's not just that it's like, oh, this is a thing that's popular somewhere else. It's like, again, like this to us is like stuff we've been listening to since we were 13. It is both a sound and a look. That stuff I've always been personally interested in, but felt really uncomfortable exploring in the past in my old bands because I didn't feel like it was something I could do. Like a lot of people who make music like that look very pretty, and I did not think that was the thing I could do. But doing this, it's kind of also like an exploration of like being like the best version of this is only me only speaking for myself, being like the best version of myself under this very specific aesthetic, which is almost like the version of myself I want to be and want to look like.
Okay.
The music videos are kind of the same way. Like there's on one hand, like they're very straightforward performance videos. There's no grand on purpose. There's no grand concept. There's no narrative. There's no message. It's just supposed to be a vibe because I think the vibe of like bands playing and looking cool is cool. Like
Yeah.
that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So like
I have
why
to
not
agree.
commit fully to just looking cool on purpose, you know?
Okay.
As far
Yeah.
as possible.
Okay.
That's
The visual kei aesthetic is very androgynous
yes.
Mhm.
in a really interesting way. And remember, first time I ever saw Casey back in your old band, I thought you were so hot. Casey,
My little heart
Casey, like 10 years ago, looked like an anime protagonist and still kind of does.
Oh, nice. I could see that. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think also it gives me personally an outlet for wanting to look cool without having to like maintain an image all the time. Like
Oh, yeah.
at practice, you'll see me in like socks, sandals, and a fanny pack, and then on stage, you know,
Liar, you're wearing sandals and no socks right now.
it's hot.
Where's
out.
your fanny pack?
I had
in the
pockets,
car.
so I didn't need the fanny pack today. But yeah, also we're gonna be taking pictures, so I wanted to look, you know, at least presentable. But like, I think part of my aesthetic is like I get to look like, you know, a tourist, you know, one day, and then you know, punk rocker the next.
Okay.
Which like I don't have to maintain it all the time. It's just when specifically for the band. Boom.
Yes.
I look amazing for one day, and that's it.
You look great every day.
Oh, thank you.
I definitely love that concept and that sort of feeling of like cards like flipping on and off a light switch.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like it's super easy, but it's also just something that you want to do sometimes, but not all the time. Because if you do it all the time, that takes a lot of energy and like a lot of work. But you know, doing it every once in a while, it definitely seems like, you know, it's very nice. I I personally relate to that a lot, especially with I guess my sort of radio presence in general. But yeah, so I guess now going more towards I guess the music specifically and your new album Eden to Carry. It seems like this was a long time in the making, and it is definitely it definitely shows because it is a very good album. At least
Thank you.
It's
After
definitely
5
filled
years,
with.
it better be.
It definitely feels, I guess, a lot of at least for me personally, it's definitely sort of just like a sort of a base layer of just sort of like synth and sort of rock in general, and then you sort of build onto it with many different things and layers and inspirations and sort of aesthetics and motivations in that music, where it's definitely like each song is. There are different things about it that can make it almost completely different, or just like it doesn't seem cohesive together, but it really is very cohesive because you always have that base layer of just sort of everything and sort of inspiration, and I enjoy that a lot. Especially with stuff like I'd Rather Feel Nothing and sort of like more city pop and sort of just like Life's Hard 'Cause You Die. It's more sort of like, I guess, more grounded. How do you guys see your album? Do you definitely see it more as that sort of cacophony of stuff and just sort of stuff in general, or like how do you feel about this album and sort of like how it transpires? I'm sorry, I talked a lot there.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Well, actually, no, that's a really great way to frame it, in my opinion, and to talk about it, because that is kind of how I think about it. Like, there's some like you mentioned, Life's Hard, right? Like, I only like recently was able to like put that like listen to it and not hear it as just like a huge like cacophony of like the 20 things I was trying to rip off over the course of time. It took me to write the song, and it also takes me. Part of that is because, and like we're all a part of like making the music, but like a lot of the stuff kind of for this group, I do a lot of stuff on my own at first, at least on this record. On the future, it probably won't go that way, but so like with Life's Hard, it starts as like, oh, I'm trying to rip off like One Tricks Point Never, and I'm putting in like weird like synthesizers and like the pianos and the vocals, and then but my voice doesn't sound like that, so it comes out differently. And then I'm trying to rip off like Killing Joke and Buck Tick, and it doesn't come out like that. I'm like, that's fine. And then it's back to et cetera. Then the middle is supposed to sound like Cocteau Twins, right?
Yeah.
And then it just, but when I'm like, so I'm hearing all of this stuff, and then I like actually put it on recently, and I just heard it as a song, not like all the things I was trying to do.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, it's just a rock song.
Yeah.
So it usually goes in the reverse. Like Sleepyhead's the same way. It literally started as like me making like ambient synthesizer music with like the vocal, all of the vocals, and then I was like, I like this vocal too much. Let's make it a rock song.
Okay.
So that it is really chaotic, but ideally when it's done, it is not. There's just a lot of like me neurotically on the computer and then of course like passing over to y'all. That's just my interpretation of it, but I'm curious what y'all think.
So I think that we get a lot of influences, and we kind of like put them into this melting pot, and then Michael has like this vision most of the time, and he's doing most of the writing and production, though like we've kind of like, as we were added to the fold of the band, we've been able to like put our identity into the songs.
Okay.
Like Michael like will have this idea and then work nonstop until it fits and works, and then we'll collaborate and be like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And we'll come together and we'll make it work. Okay. So it's like it does start off as this very chaotic thing, and then through like sheer determination, failure is not an option, right?
Yeah, like
we must succeed, right? And we do, and like this is the end result. And some of these songs we've recorded once before, and then we had a full band and we re-recorded them again, and like they're completely different, even though they're still the same song. And I think that shows our personal growth and our growth as a band too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things that's really interesting about the way that Michael produces is he'll come up with, like he was talking about, like these really like ambient synth music things, and then he'll send them to us and be like, hey, just do like 3 or 4 things and send them back to us, send them back to me, and then I'm going to try some stuff out. And so he kind of treats us like human sample generators.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so there's
Oh no.
on yeah, no, and it's really cool because we'll send him stuff and then he'll get in the DAW and he'll like morph things. Like
Yeah.
for instance, the opening riff of Used to Be.
Mhm.
I never played that on guitar until we recorded it because Michael took a single note from a DI track of my guitar and pitch shifted it into that melody and sent it to me. He was like, "What do you think of this?" Literally turned my guitar playing into a sampler.
That's awesome. Okay.
And when we were recording it, I kept trying to get it to have that kind of inflection, and nothing I did made it work that way. So that's what's on the record is that DI. And then we
Nice.
blended it with a performance of it to give it some naturalism. But you're hearing sample the guitar that Michael did.
I mean, I ran it through tone.
I mean, yeah,
I ran it through tone, but it is
Yeah.
literally I put the one note in the Ableton sampler, and I wanted to keep having the vocal melody like happen over and over again. So I was like, it'll be a guitar part. So I put all like the tone on it, and then I was like, Matt, it doesn't sound like my fake guitar. it needs to sound kind of bad.
we spent like an
So-
we spent like an hour
So we
trying
decided
to
on
get it
both.
to sound like that, and I was like, "Can we just use the one you made?" Like,
But alternatively, as songs continue to go, like a song like "Wish You Well," for example, that was written pretty much entirely by Casey as a demo, where Casey sent me literally all the riffs of the song, like
Bass too.
in just like like with just the tones that you got off of, I guess, Neural or something, and like some rough drums and the bass and like a bass line, which is similar to what's on the bass on the track at the end, and was like, "Do you think this is an idea?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is an idea. Send me all the stems. Take all that, arrange it into exactly what's on the record now, and then say, okay, now like Matt, do crazy ambient stuff. Austin, how do you want to change the bass, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like
Okay.
adding synths. But like it's the same process there. Also, a lot of what's on the record for Wish You Well is literally the demo guitar that Casey sent me because I was
Nice.
like, it sounds right. Like,
Mhm.
I need to use it.
part of our process is when we do demos. By the time the demo is done, it needs to be releasable.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Yeah,
we produce to a point where we could release our demos, and then we go do it all over again in the studio.
Half the vocals are the demo vocals. Sleepyhead, I
nice.
could not get
Yeah.
right. It's the demo vocal that I just Rather Feel Nothing is half demo vocal because I just couldn't get the tone right again. Because usually I'll write it and immediately record it because I'll forget it. I don't like write it and think of because my studio's in my house.
Mhm.
So I'll literally like write the lyrics down while I'm trying to figure out what vocal to do. Write it down at 5 minutes after I wrote it down while I'm thinking about the emotion as I'm writing it. I'll go record it and then I'll go try to do it later and be like, I mean, it sounds good, but like it just doesn't feel right.
It definitely seems like there's a lot of chaos and explosiveness that goes on, and just sort of like you guys all sort of just hammer it down until it comes around.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really great way to put it.
We're all crazy people.
I mean, it's great. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, so
None of us ever stop doing.
Yeah, we're kind of obsessive and compulsive with what we're
Yeah.
creating all the time.
I don't. Less for me. Like for me, writing music is a collaborative and social thing. So I do best when I either have something to work with from what they've recorded, or I'm actually sitting in the room with Michael and we're like bouncing ideas off each other. It's like play this note. I'm like, and then I'll hum a melody to him, and we're like, yeah, and then we'll figure it out, and then do it like that. So I do my best recording with other people instead of on my own obsessing over it.
yeah.
But I think that I'm the exception of this band.
Yeah, Austin is
Yeah, I was
is
about to
the
say.
band's calming presence.
Yeah.
Austin is
Mhm.
our he keeps us grounded.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's not do a music video for every single song of this album.
I disagree.
I also disagree.
But the
But
three
you,
that we
you
have
are
are so
right, but I
good.
still disagree.
I'm right. That's all that matters.
I feel very chaotic just thinking about all of it. And it's
Sorry, I could talk about that
no,
for hours.
No,
and I
no,
won't, though.
it's great. It's definitely something where it's like I like that sort of explosiveness and that feeling that sort of comes through with your production and through with your music as well. It definitely does seem like it's controlled chaos, which is
for
what
sure.
I also enjoy a lot with like sort of I guess my music is definitely emotional, sort of out there in your face, but still very composed, and still just very you know, demanding attention while also deserving it at the same time.
Yes.
Where
Mhm.
and I could definitely hear that with a lot of your songs. I enjoy I'd rather feel nothing. I'm sorry. I'm super obsessed with this song because it's definitely something where I kind of
Oh,
feel
yeah.
where it's like definitely sort of just like I can be in a sort of like beach setting, but also that beach setting like it's like a beach setting, but it's also like goth, and it's just sort of just like it's sort of just very very dark and sort
It's
of
really
synthy.
Yeah.
dark.
It's definitely I mean like it like
I mean, it's my favorite. It's my favorite on the album. At this current, it changed all the time. It's my current favorite on the album.
I love the bass line in Rather Feel Nothing. It's like super groovy. It gives me a way to like express like it's very simple but also very complicated at the same time, which is like a metaphor in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like the song, it's like the
Yeah.
lyrical content of the song has no business being with that groovy, danceable bass line.
yeah.
It's very common.
I think it's and that's definitely one of the songs where I love the bass and the drums a lot.
Thank
Like
you.
it's definitely something that stood out to me. So
I mean, for me, it's literally like all I was trying to do was I was trying to make something that sounded like if Enya produced Michael Jackson.
that's
Like
a
it's
good way to
all
think
like,
about it.
like
yeah.
it's all like Orinoco flow, like D50s and Junos, and I don't know if she used Oberheim, but Oberheims and stuff, and it's all like the kinds of sounds you would hear on like classic Enya. But then like that like this really like aggressive, fierce thing. But all I had at first was the chorus music and the like nothing that happens, which was the really nihilistic lyrics. That's all it was, right? It was just that, and all of the lyrics are just an attempt to like elaborate on like what just that one thing was, that like chanted like nothing thing over and over again,
mhm.
and just making that into like a lyric. But it like the meaning of the song was like that's what the meaning of just that chant was. I just couldn't like figure it out for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So it was like it started writing 2 years ago, but it was the last one finished. I think.
Yeah, the other element of that song is like you talk about like Enya and Michael Jackson. And this plays into our like just mashing up concepts and styles. The bridge of that song, I'm just aping Devin Townsend.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting it
Like
just,
Deadhead.
yeah, I was aping Deadhead by Devin Townsend.
Okay. I'm personally not familiar with that artist, but
Devin
Should be.
Townsend,
Become
you should
familiar.
be. The other interview that we did, we talked a little about your music taste. You'll love Devin
Oh, yeah.
Townsend.
okay, sick.
The weirdest stuff.
Another-
It's great.
Another artist who's gone like the gamut of genre while
Oh, yeah.
still staying completely metal, which is kind of crazy.
I'm also unfamiliar with Devin Townsend, so
We'll fix that.
Looks cool. Bald. Ooh.
Didn't used
He,
to
wa-
be.
he wasn't always bald.
Used
But
to
when he
be.
wasn't bald, it was worse.
It's true. No, none of this has to be in the thing, of course.
Yeah,
but,
no, don't
but
worry.
on the real, like his style of maximalist production is like very directly influential on my style of
Okay.
production
Have-
on the album.
So you have 3 music videos, or at least 3, I guess. I guess I would call music videos, quote unquote, because you have other stuff that's like lyrical videos. But you have "Wish You Well," "Eating a Carry," and "Used to Be." Tell me like the process of recording those those videos and getting your sort of tone aesthetic visually.
it's a live in studio performance.
Yes, it's a live video, which I call a music video because like it's kind of just like it's
Yeah.
you guys are kind of like
Yeah.
No, you're
they're
right.
kind
I
of
was
just
just
like
right.
There,
Okay,
there are
okay.
other music videos that you can't find on the internet.
True.
Yeah,
We've done several, and we decided when we were doing the record that we were going to pull down things because we were redoing some of those songs.
Mhm.
So we didn't want old versions out there with music videos when we were going to
mm-hmm.
what we call plussing up things.
Mhm.
Just really improving and expanding on stuff.
Yes. And before each of these videos, I personally called each member of this band and said, "What are you wearing tomorrow?"
Yeah, yeah.
Casey
yeah,
took
yeah.
me thrift shopping before
did.
the Wish
Oh,
You
nice.
Well
I'll
do it
video
again.
because I had no idea what to do.
I want to state for the record that Casey did not have to babysit me, and in fact, is like, Austin, I trust you, and that you will be, I trust your aesthetic. So I didn't have to like check in with Casey.
I am entirely untrustworthy. I cannot dress myself.
I love that. Sort
That's
of,
what mommy's here for.
Thanks,
But
mommy.
this is what
I
I was
love it.
saying when like this band is some of my closest friends. Like we're on that level with each other, right? Like we
Mhm.
were all hanging out in my. It wasn't for a music video, but we were hanging out in my house for one of our photo shoots, and I had baked some muffins, and we were just all like, yeah,
oh,
they weren't that special.
They were
Um,
special. They were
they were
special because they were good.
They were filled with the most potent drug of all,
That's-
love.
okay.
But
And
yeah,
weed.
it's like I like to bake for my friends, and then we were just chilling at my house and, being cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking on the videos in specifics, it's we, including Garrett, who worked on those videos as well and helped us with the record.
And played drums.
He plays drums on some of the tracks. He engineered a lot of what's on the record because at the time he was our drummer.
He was
Um,
in the music video for Used to
Yeah,
Be.
he's playing the drums in Used to Be. That was when he was in the group.
It used to be the one
um,
with the white background.
No, that's Wish
That's
You
Wish
Well.
You Well.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So those are, if I'm including Garrett, like we have like a very DIY approach to the band. Like,
Mhm.
including,
Garrett's a member.
I mean,
of this
Garrett is
band, and
basically,
always
yeah,
will be.
he basically
Yeah.
is involved, even though he's not like in the band. But like,
Also, very close friend
and incredibly
and
close
amazing
friend.
person.
yes, but like including that, like everything, like the record, the videos, is all DIY. Like me and Garrett shot everything. Like me and Garrett edited every video. We directed everything ourselves. Did all the set dressing, all the lighting, etc. On the records, like we all engineered everything. Sorry.
yeah. No
um,
problem.
So if it has a sense of like a cohesive quality to it, it's literally just because like in the shared aesthetic between like visual, music, and everything, it's because the same very small group of people did literally everything. Like the album art was like a Photoshop of like a bunch of photos Austin took. Like
Mhm.
everything.
Actually, that was like an accident. One of those photos, I was messing around with my camera while taking some sky photos on vacation, and like I had my headlamp on, and I accidentally hit the button, and I'm like, these lens flares are really cool. Michael, I want this
Nice.
to be something. And like we were having such a hard time getting the album art, and then Michael did a mock up, and we're like, that's it. That's the
It
shot.
just looks like Cocteau Twins to me.
So it definitely seems like it's. How do you get that sort of just like, again, like, or at least for me personally, working at something, working on something creatively with like a group of people, it's very hard to for everybody to agree on something to be happy about it and just sort of just like get sort of vision out. Is that sort of like because you describing it definitely does seem like it's sort of just like that sort of like everybody is like super like into it and super. Is there any like people like, I guess, being like, oh, I want to do it this way or that way, or is there any sort of stuff like that, or is it just all very much like you guys are all like super on the same wavelength?
So my girlfriend describes being in a band as being in a relationship with like 4 or 5 other people,
Oh, great.
and it's
Maybe I should be in a band then.
like it's eerie how accurate that is, right? So like with my girlfriend and I, like we will have some differences and like we won't always get along, but like at the fundamental, right? Like we are right for each other.
Mhm.
And again, like Michael was searching for people that were the right fit for this band. And so we will have times when like we disagree. Like I'm like, we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves, and we shouldn't be like so gung ho about doing, time after time, like, just breaking our own backs to get stuff out the door.
Mhm.
We should like be methodical and focus on things and do things to the best of our ability, but we also need to take breaths and breathe in between. Whereas like I think that counterbalances some of the,
Breathing is
right. Like I know that like Michael and Casey are very like they want to do everything to make this band succeed, and it shows, and
Mhm.
that kind of like gives me the energy to pursue that too. But like there's also a time when like they do push themselves too far, and I have to like rein them back a little bit, and they'll be like fighting me every step of the way too.
Yeah, but Me and Matt were literally talking about that in the car on the way here.
Yeah.
That I said you have a very specific language that that will make me go like, oh dang, which I describe as talking like Scott James, which only makes sense to Austin and Scott James if he's listening. But a big part of it,
Listen,
I think,
you're not supposed to say any of those.
You're not
words.
supposed to say Scott James. It's on there.
It's on the list. I'm holding the list.
Sorry, Scott.
I'm holding the list of words that we're not allowed to say on the radio. I'm going to read these so you guys know.
Hold on, no.
me and if you
Can we
include
turn off
that,
the mic real
I'm
quick
sending
for
it
you?
to him, timestamping it. Anyway, I'll put it this way: me and Austin have already spent a long time shipping much bigger projects with a lot more cooks in the kitchen professionally, and this is relatively easy when it comes to that part of it. A big thing for me is let everyone talk. Let everyone get their thing out. Nobody has a wrong idea. If everybody's aligned aesthetically on what we're trying to do, nobody's idea is wrong, right? It might not be the choice we end up using, but to just say no on its face would cause resentment. People would have a sort of like buildup of like, oh, I have this artistic idea and I can't even have the opportunity to express it, and it just keeps wanting to be there, right? So by just never saying no and just saying like, oh, you want to do, like, it's basically let's just yes and everything.
Yeah.
It's very chaotic because when you get into the then sifting through all of what you have on we used Life's Hard earlier as an example on a song like that, or a song like Sleepyhead, which is very much collaborative, from like how like everybody pretty much like wrote all their own parts, like it was formed collaboratively, and instead of being like, oh, I want to play this kind of thing, being like, it's not really what I was imagining. Okay, that's what you're hearing. Let me hear you do that. What am I now hearing now that you're doing that? And just never saying no to that unless it's like definitely not the right. That's I think the best way to get all of this out without there being interpersonal issues.
Yeah, one of the things that I think works really well for us is that our end goal is always to do the best possible thing.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we do is in service of that.
Like
So-
not my best possible
yeah,
thing, but
but-
whatever.
Right.
Like whatever it is collectively, I
Yeah.
guess.
Like even beyond that, like our goal is to do the objectively best thing.
Yes.
Like make the objectively best music, and whether we succeeded at that or not is up to the listener. But that's the end goal. So everything we do is in service of that. So everyone's ideas are worthwhile, and you can leave ego at the door when you're trying to do something like that. Like all you want to do is make the best possible thing. Nobody on their own can do the best possible thing.
Yeah.
You have to do it collectively. So you hear out all the ideas, pick the best bits of everyone, and throw them in the blender and see what happens.
Except for John. John individually can do the best.
Yes. Yeah. John, who is not here, is the real mastermind. We're all just we're all taking credit for all of John's hard work.
Gosh, I should have moved the interview to when he was here. Gosh.
Yeah, John
Seems like the missing link here.
John recorded all the bass lines by
John
I
is
can't,
playing
wait
them on
for,
the
I
drum.
can't wait for us to have like the two liturgy scenario where it's the John Flinders Drake.
I at the end of the day, we're going to break up and become Queensryche and Jeff
Wait,
Tate's
not
Queensryche.
liturgy. It's the other band that I can't say the name of. It's Polish.
I don't know.
Liturgy is one band. Forget all of that. It's black. I'm talking about black metal, and none of this matters.
I'm talking about hair metal. I don't know what you're talking about.
Fair enough.
Casey, do you have anything to add to the
Black metal, hair metal
No.
discourse.
I was gonna
To this
say-
discourse that's happening right now?
I was going to say the original discourse of, taking our ideas and do we have any conflicts or are we all on the same page?
Yeah. So Austin is spot on with his description of that situation or the scenario. It does feel kind of like we'll come to head it sometimes, but I do give Michael a lot of credit as like this really level-headed leader that can
Mhm.
sort of field out the best ideas and make everyone feel heard and considered. And at the end of the day, Austin's often right. And if we had gone down a certain route, Michael and I, or maybe all of us, would be like so overwhelmed that we would just probably call it a work and sleep for a week because I mean, speaking for myself, I get super depressed if I just go way too hard for way too long and then I just
Yeah.
can't even function anymore.
Mhm.
And I have a propensity for doing that within
Me
music.
too.
I have the opposite propensity. Word of the day, propensity.
Can you
Where
use that in a sentence?
Casey said the word propensity in the last audio bite.
Now spell it.
Anyway, I'll often avoid things. Like I have an avoidant streak when I feel overwhelmed or stressed out. Like I just want nothing to do with the negative emotion, and like oftentimes like when I'm learning a song, it can be like very taxing for me to like learn it. So I'll put it off until the last minute. So the thing that really gets me out of that is expectations I put on myself. I can always like shrug off, but the expectations of this band and like knowing that I would let my friends down if I were to show up to practice unprepared or show up to the show unprepared gives me the drive to be the musician that I actually want to be. So like I need this band to have the energy to do what I want to do, right? Like I wanted to be a good and great bassist, and without Flood District, I wouldn't have touched my instrument for probably 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a good mix in this band. I think we bring out the best qualities of each other.
There are several good mixes. They are the songs on the album.
Correct. You guys have your live show on the 10th, which is gonna be great. Have you guys performed live before? At least I haven't seen you on any like bills or tickets like previously. Is this is this like your first time performing live together, or is it just something where you don't do often? Like what's up with it?
This is our third time performing live together. As we were like operating, as I said, like it was me and then it was other people, and it's slowly been like put together into a full band. So for a while before the pandemic, it was a trio of me, Austin, Matt, and we were doing like the drums were more like kind of like new wave and electronic. I mean, it's the same music, but like and so we would do some shows like that. And then when the pandemic hit, obviously we just had to stop. And in that time, that's when we brought in Casey, John, etc. And like
we brought in Garrett, and Garrett played drums for us on the record.
Yeah, Garrett as well.
We were rehearsing together, and then he ended up not being able to have time to do the project, but it still like works with us on lots of different elements of it.
Yeah. So when we brought in John, we were like, we're gonna like play live like now as a 5-piece as a band for real. So we did last year's Hopscotch Day Party at Ruby, and then we just played with the Velt like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Incredible experience.
They are so good.
Best band.
So good.
Period.
Not the point. But
Amazing
wow, they're
people
incredible.
too.
But this like I guess album release show we have coming up is like our first show that's like our show where we can kind of like curate a little more.
And where's
like,
that gonna
play a
be?
little longer. It's at Ruby.
Ruby? Okay.
Yes.
Ruby Deluxe, right?
Ruby,
Mhm.
yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
June 10th, Ruby Deluxe. And
Best bar named Ruby in downtown.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to check that up. Is it
But-
the only bar?
Irrelevant.
But we're super excited about it because we haven't like I love performing live. It's my favorite. Like, don't get me wrong, I love being in the studio and making insane nonsense. But like the actual performing at the end of it is like the big catharsis for me. And just like playing with this group and being able to play music, like I don't really think there is a scene for what we do specifically around here.
Mm-hmm.
So finally getting
guys are
out
very
and
unique,
presenting it to people is very nerve-wracking for me, but also I'm really excited about it. Like I'm really stoked to move forward doing a lot more shows, hopefully, and like hopefully get on like bills where like people are like, I don't even know what this is, but I'm into it.
I think
You know?
Oh, yeah.
what's interesting, Michael was saying that there isn't really a scene for what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The flip side is there are several scenes that we're tangential to because we have this mix. Like goth, we can play at. Prog, we can play at. Sure, like rock, we can play at. And that like there isn't one scene, which is, there's a drawback to that. But then like being able to like spread out, that's another benefit to it. And to me also like being live music, like watching it, amazing social setting. being on the other side of the stage, huge and like a different experience, but you're still getting that other experience too of like being with other, like watching bands live, being a part of like that social gathering where you're all here to like enjoy music to the level that people who go out to see live shows are. And that to me is like I wanted that so bad, the 2 or 3 years we were on hiatus, and like finally getting back to that
Same.
breath of fresh air. Like, oh, it's so good to be back.
Yes,
Nice.
absolutely. It's funny what you were like being in a like, oh, we don't fit into a scene, that could be to your detriment. I feel like if you make the choice to make music that does not fit into any local scene, like your only choice is like you have to try to be like very good, so that people are like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But I want them to play with me. That's
Yes.
your only
I
move.
just want every band
So,
to have that attitude.
We're now rolling the dice. Please ask us to play with you so that I don't feel foolish.
All right. Well, before we wrap this up, is there anything else that they guys want to say? You got any socials you can shout out, or like where can people find you? Yada yada yada.
So you can follow us on like, IG, Facebook, Spotify for sure, and wherever you Apple Music, wherever you listen to us, we're everywhere you probably are, except for TikTok so far. We're also playing at our album release show on the 10th, on Saturday at Ruby Deluxe.
Nice.
And also we're playing with wonderful, very talented local hip hop artist Camus Leonardo and wonderful former pop punk band Penalty Box per their own description, their self description. And
That's post pop punk.
post pop punk. And then I guess check us out wherever. Also, please check out Casey's solo project Canary Complex as well, which I mixed the record for.
Yes.
It also has a record out and it's very good.
You did such an amazing job. Thank you.
I will say, if you do like if you're liking this Flood District sound, you'll definitely enjoy Canary Complex.
Well, thank you.
Definitely.
I first got this interview through Canary Complex, and then turned to Flood District, and I'm completely glad because they're both really great sounds. So, yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you again, Flood District, for coming down and talking to me about your latest album, Eden to Carry. Again, I want to leave the audience off. You guys, the audience, off with Anniversary and I'd Rather Feel Nothing. Thank you all so much again for listening. Thank you, Flood District, again for coming down and talk about your latest album, Eden to Carry. This is WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh, and I have been your host, The Loaf, and this is a bit in Flood District. Thank you all so much for listening, and thank you, Flood District, as well.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us.
You're welcome.
I'm stuck remembering the pain you orchestrated from A to Z. Listing every single memory you feel your quest is unending. Summer brave is a blessing. You could call and I will listen close every time. Sometimes I forget the truth. It's just a curse from my youth. Every year this day I rise too soon. Do not believe the fools. These years will heal the wounds. 'Cause tonight I feel like I'm stuck remembering the pain you orchestrated from A to Z. You're listing every single memory You know these days I'd rather feel all good and the bad is all in the same place. Don't want pleasure or pain filled up with no regret. If you know what I'm about, there's nothing left to say. Oh no, no, no. You know it's all too much for me. Every night we live and break could be wonderful, it could be ugly. So sometimes I don't wanna love her, I don't wanna fret, I wanna be lucky in the end. I can't see the forest or the trees, whatever coloring you please, it ain't so different to me. And after all